Alright, what's up everybody? Back with another Overwatch 2 hero tier list. This is going to be for Season 6. Got a brand new hero, Illari, and a bunch of other balance changes. Over 20 plus heroes actually got balance changes for this Season 6 update. So there's a lot to talk about and a lot to go over for this tier list. So if you guys like these videos, leave a like, subscribe, share the video. Keep in mind this is going to be for like your average to mid-tier player tier list. It's not going to be for the Owl League. It's not going to be for your high-tier top 500s. It's going to be for your average solo queue middle-tier players. Anywhere from like silver all the way up to like high-tier plat, low-tier diamond, around there. So that being said as well, though, this list is also 100% opinionated. So if you guys don't agree with me on something, or if I forget to mention something or talk about something, let me know in the comments down below, as well as your own list. That'd be really great. One thing I want to talk about getting into this before I throw the list on screen for you guys is, I think right now for Season 6, I think out of all the seasons we've had for Overwatch 2 right now, I think the balance with the game right now is probably the worst it's ever been. You have some characters right now and some heroes that are like flat out useless, that are like legit borderline unplayable. A few that are actually unplayable right now. And then you have like half the hero cast being some of the most broken shit in the entire game. Tanks feel like absolute shit to play, apart from maybe like 2 or 3 of them that are just flat out busted. And then you have like supports. Supports right now keep getting power crept. I don't know what the problem is, why they keep buffing supports, but I feel like supports now, especially with the new character Illari being added, I feel like supports are just getting power crept every single patch, and that's a huge problem. We have major giga buffs to Lifeweaver and a few other things as well, which I'll talk about. Supports are way too good. The supports need to have a toning back. I feel like they're way too good. And then we also have a bunch of DPS that either got buffed for no reason again, and then you have some that are pretty much garbage, or you have some that are just still like flat out broken, and they've been broken for I don't know how long already. And if anything, they either got buffed or nothing got changed about them at all to make them get nerfed. So overall right now, the balance I think for Overwatch 2 is probably the worst it's ever been. Just going into this, just so you guys know, maybe it's good for your higher tiers of play, but right now I feel like the game just feels like shit to play. There's a lot of stuff right now that is just so unfun to play against, and if anything, unless you're playing the stuff that's super broken to play and just OP that wins like every single game, you're not really having that much fun beyond maybe like playing for 30 minutes. If you play longer than 30 minutes, then you're going to be getting really frustrated and you're going to want to like close the game. That's how bad the balance of this game is right now. So that being said, I'll throw the list for you guys on screen right now. We got S tier. This is all the heroes that need major buffs or major balance changes to nerf them in some way. A plus tier is your above average stuff. Could use a few little minor nerfs, but they're not like broken tier. A tier is your stuff that's actually balanced. B is below average, C is kind of situational. D tier is the shit that is borderline like unusable and needs major buffs to be good in any aspect. And then you have D, or you have the other tier, which is needs rework tier. So that being said, let's get right into this. We got Illara. Illara is the newest support to the game. She's going right to S tier. Illara is, or Illari, I think it's Illara or Illari, I'm not 100% sure. I don't know, you guys gotta bear with me because I haven't even been able to really play her, because first of all, what they're trying to do now is they're actually back to making supports absolutely just fucking busted on release, so they can sell battle passes and it's pretty much pay to win. That is another thing Blizzards went back on. It wasn't really much of a problem for Lifeweaver because I think he was balanced on release. But like now they're back to releasing supports and new characters being giga buffed on release and being like the best character in the game. So they're able to push battle passes. If you don't buy the battle pass, then you can't play her until level 45. So you're forced to play against her and you're forced to suffer. And by the time you do get access to her, she either gets nerfed or nobody's playing her anymore because she just gets major changes, or everybody that does play her is way better than you are. So you're kind of screwed. Apart from that, she's probably the best support in the entire game. She is the most broken hero release Overwatch 2 has seen up until this point. I would actually like to take into consideration Overwatch as well, but technically, if you want to go technical, that was an entirely different game. For Overwatch 2, Illari is the most broken character they've ever released for the game. Some people say that was Kiriko, some people say that was Sojourn. I think she's even more broken than Sojourn was on release when the game first dropped. She has probably one of the best ults in the entire game. Her damage numbers for a support are absolutely crazy. She has an AFK healing pylon that heals your team. I think it's for like 50 damage or 50 health per like every half a second or something. It's fucking crazy. It's even better than like Mercy Beam and that type of thing. You don't even need to, you just need to throw it there and it just heals for you. It's an auto heal ability. She also has an alternate heal that heals you a shit ton of damage. It's resource based and it heals you for a fuck ton of damage. I think it's like 75 health every 1 second or something. And then she has a crazy ult, and then she also has really good mobility with a knockback and a slight damage immunity with a knockback, which is crazy. And I don't really know what they're doing for support as well. Like, we had a really good release with Lifeweaver. A lot of people say Lifeweaver was weak on release, but I think that was the perfect balance for support on release. He wasn't broken, but he wasn't like piss poor bad. He was just balanced on release. I think Lifeweaver also overall right now is probably the best hero so far they released, at least balance wise. And then 1 or 2 updates later, they're back to releasing broken heroes again. I don't know if they didn't learn from Sojourn or like Junker Queen and all those ones that they released at the start when the game first dropped. Kiriko was pretty good on release. I don't think she was really broken though, but I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys. And then she's also a support that like out damages like almost any other DPS in the game. She is a support that does more damage than half of your damage roster in this fucking game. She legit, if with a headshot, you're able to 2-shot somebody. Anything that is not a tank, if you can get a headshot on them, they are a headshot and a body shot, you can 2-shot somebody. That is how busted she is. I don't know what to tell you guys. And then they're also going into this really weird thing to where now we're actually getting supports that actually have auto heal abilities. So if anything, like, we're getting supports that are even being dumbed down even more to the point where you don't even need to do anything to actually heal somebody. All you need to do is throw out a fucking pylon that actually heals everybody for you. Meanwhile, you can just run around and play damage support the entire game while the pylon just heals everybody. You don't even need to heal with her. Like, you can just run around and do damage nonstop 24/7 and throw your pylon down where your team is standing or playing, and the pylon will do all the work for you. And even with that, even not even using your alternate healing ability with your alternate fire on like your actual weapon that can actually heal, with your pylon, I've seen people get up to 20k heals in like a 15-minute match just by using their pylon alone and not even using their alternate heal ability and just doing damage the entire game. I've seen many of Alara's and I guess Alari, whatever. Like, I've seen many of them actually in like a 15 to 20 minute match. They had 20 plus K heals and they would never heal apart from just throwing down their pylon. And they would have 15k plus damage and be out damaging like the entirety of the damage heroes on their team. As a support, plus healing that much with just a pylon. If you do not think that is busted, I don't know what world you're actually living in. And she is so unfun to play against. She is a cancer to the game. The new support is a fucking cancer to the game, and I do not know, at least when I'm recording this, they haven't said anything whether she's going to be getting nerfed or not. But if I was Blizzard and I seen the character was taken over the game as like by a storm in the first week of a new season release, I would have fucking nerfed her into the ground within 3 days. Why it's been almost a week since this season has dropped, at least when I'm recording this, and she has not got any major like instant quick nerfs or anything is beyond me. When she is taking the game by storm, she's just fucking ruining the game for everybody with how broken she is. I don't know. I can sit here and talk about her the entire time, and we can sit here for an hour. I can talk about the new support and why she's even like this and why they keep doing this type of shit and how fucking stupid the balance team is, but I don't want to waste any more time. We got a whole other roster of heroes to get into as well, but let me know what you think of new support in the comments down below. I think she's fucking flat out bust, and she's probably the most broken character, or at least hero, that Overwatch 2 has ever released up until this point, which is really bad for the game. I think she's actually a cancer to the game with how unfun she is to play against. She pretty much, you can't do your job. Like, she makes it so you can't do your job. She heals her entire team, and then she's able to, like, duel you as a support with how much damage she does. and then she's out damaging half the DPS on her own team and then on your team as well, and being able to heal as much as she does just by throwing down one ability and one deployable. Bastion, they giga buffed the shit out of Bastion this patch, y'all. They giga buffed the shit out of him. They upped the damage in his turret form. They gave it to where if you swap from your sentry to your turret form, you get 50 automatic armor, and then they also increased his movement speed, I think, a little bit when he's in turret form. Why did Bastion need more damage and more survivability when he already just fucking melts people in turret form? I don't know. Again, absolutely fucking stupid balance team. And if anything, I think if you would go to a preschool and you would ask one of the preschoolers to balance this game, I think a fucking 3-year-old could probably balance Overwatch 2 right now, and it would somehow be better balance-wise than it currently is for Season 6. That is how bad the game is balanced right now. Case in point, those Bastion changes. Why did you need to Giga buff Bastion and give him more survivability and more damage? I don't know. He just melts everybody. The only time you're able to actually kill him now is when he's not in turret form, and that is very limited because almost every single time he's either hiding behind his tanks or he's not doing anything. He's just hiding whenever he has his cooldown for his turret form going. So, like, unless he's in turret form, you're never going to really find him or be able to kill him. Especially if he's playing with his team. McCree got some minor nerfs. I still think he's really good. I think he needs a few other significant nerfs, or at least a few minor nerfs to make him balanced. I think he's still really, really good. Not going to talk about him very much, though, because there's a lot of other stuff to talk about, and I'm already almost like 10 minutes into this video, and we haven't even got through like half the characters yet. D.Va, I think D.Va right now is balanced. I'm going to put her at A tier. I think overall for the tanks, I think she's one of the more balanced tanks as of right now. Genji is still really good. I think he needs some minor nerfs. I don't know what they would do to minor nerf him, but I think he's still really good. Hanzo is still busted. Going to S tier. Still really good. Nothing with Hanzo's changed. The only thing they changed to nerf him is where you can actually wall climb, and you're out of a wall climb, you're not able to do your double jump out of a wall climb, and that's all they changed with him. Which does nothing for him. It just makes his mobility a little bit slower climbing up a wall. Junkrat, I think, is balanced right now, and I wouldn't change really anything with him right now. I think there's more priorities than having to change Junkrat balance-wise. Lucio, I think, is balanced overall, at least for right now, I think. Mei, still incredibly good, needs to be nerfed. Needs every single buff that she got last season reverted until then she'll be balanced again. She's AIDS to play against. Not fun. Mercy, they nerfed Mercy's blue beam by 5 damage. So now I think instead of 35, it only does a 30 damage boost or something. Still busted. Still probably the most brain dead, like AFK support in the entire game apart from Illari. I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't know. I think Mercy needs an entire rework. Like, I'd put her in S tier, or like if they want to majorly nerf her, or like I'd put her in also in like needs a rework tier because I think she needs to be fully reworked. You can argue for either of those. They'll never rework her though because she still sells way too many skins, and she is one of the most popular heroes in the entire game. So they'll never rework her, unfortunately. The day Blizzard reworks Mercy is the day the game somehow gets better, and that'll never happen. Pharah, I think Pharah is balanced right now. A tier. Reaper, still busted. Still busted. Don't know why they never nerf Reaper. Why is a fucking damage hero able to walk up to some of the tanks and 3 or 4 shot some of the tanks as a DPS? I'll never know. He makes like half the tanks in the game, like their entire life, just miserable and makes them unfun to play. Why? Why is that still in the game? I don't know. Plus, you don't even need to rely on your support with your passive getting lifesteal back. With how much health you get back, you don't even really need to have a support on your team that constantly heals you. You can just do your own thing and just do whatever you want half the game. Reinhardt, A+ tier. I don't know what they would do to minorly nerf him, but he's above average right now. Hog is garbage. This is coming from somebody that plays Hog. Like, I think the majority of my playtime is on Hog. And I'd put him in D tier, like, he needs a rework. He's eventually going to be getting a rework, I think either Season 7 or Season 8. He's slated to get a rework. At this point, being somebody that didn't really want a rework for Hog, maybe a rework would be a better thing. Maybe he'll actually be good after a rework. Just keep in mind as well, y'all, They balanced 20 plus heroes in this season patch, and they did not make any balance changes or any buffs to Hog for this patch, but they buffed 20 plus other heroes in this patch, but Hog was not one of them. And Hog is one of the worst heroes in the entire game, and they did not do anything for him. Does that go to show you how they actually care about Hog and how they actually give a shit about Hog? They don't fucking care about him. I think what they're waiting for now is to the point where they're going to rework him and like, yeah, he's in the game. We're not going to touch him though until he gets reworked. We're too busy making broken support characters and throwing them into the game and then not quick nerfing them. That's what their priority is right now. They nerfed Soldier a little bit to where I think it's his Helix grenade does a little bit less damage. He still is broken. Still brain. He has a brain dead all that legit is auto aim, and he's able to heal himself and take any angle he wants. And plus his damage buff is still there. They've never reverted that either. So until all of his stuff gets nerfed, like everything about his kit gets nerfed in some way, he's always going to be S tier and going to be broken. Especially if you're solo queuing, especially if you're on console. Symmetra, I'd put her in B tier. More situational, but if she is on a certain map or the certain team, she is really good. Torb got buffed. I think he's... I don't know. I'll put him in a B tier. I think he's more situational and map dependent. I don't know if I'd really buff him anymore, though, because if they buff his turret anymore for like his base kit or his armor, then he's going to become really annoying. So I think I'd probably even leave him just where he is. Tracer got some major buffs. She's A+ tier. Really good this patch because they increased her ammo count for some reason. They reverted her damage down to 5 per bullet, but they increased her ammo count by like 10 or something. So Widow needs an entire rework. Shouldn't have to talk about her. She needs an entire rework. Winston I think is pretty bad, B tier at best. Just mainly map situational. The problem with Winston right now, I think, especially if like you're mid-tier games, or solo queue games, she just gets melted by everybody. You have to have a support that's constantly babysitting you. If you try to dive on an enemy team and you don't get a kill, you just get melted by a lot of stuff because there's so much damage right now and a lot of CC. The supports are being power crept, and half the supports in the game just shut you down. Zarya A+ tier. I would revert her damage. I think she needs a small damage nerf. That's what I would give to her. I think she does way too much damage for a tank. Zenyatta got a bit of a nerf. I still think he's incredibly good. I'm still going to put him in an S tier. I think his damage orb needs to be entirely reworked or just nerfed into the ground. One of those two. You could argue either a rework tier or like nerf his damage orb into the ground. I'm going to put him in needs major nerfs tier though, because I think that's be more likely to happen. On S tier, crazy good. Needs some major nerfs. I don't know what they would actually do to her. I think she would just have her healing be the same. I think what they need to do next is they need to nerf her Biotic Grenade again. I think that's at least what I would nerf with her because it's still crazy good. Maybe a slight healing nerf. I don't know what they would do with her, but she needs some major nerfs. I don't know what they would do though. Sombra is going to be getting an entire rework, so I'm just going to put her in needs a rework tier. She's very hit or miss. She can be annoying, and they nerfed her again, I think, this patch. Slightly, but I think she's going to be getting reworked anyway, so I'll just throw her in that tier. Orisa is probably the best tank in the game. Orisa by far is the best tank in the game right now. She's legit unkillable. She has crazy damage, she has crazy short cooldown, crowd control. She has a really solid ult, and she has Fortify, which makes her unkillable. There you go, that's all you want for a tank. That is everything you want for a tank. The only thing she's lacking is kind of mobility, but even then she has her baton twirl or whatever, so she can kind of get away without having to take damage. She is the epitome of what you want for a tank right now. If you want a tank that can just do everything, just pick Orisa because she's beyond fucking busted right now. I don't know how she hasn't got nerfed either. Doomfist A+ tier. I would increase his cooldowns, at least balance-wise for like minor balance changes. I would slightly increase his cooldowns by like 1 or 2 seconds for some of his cooldowns. I feel like he has way too much mobility and his cooldowns are a little bit too spammable right now. Apart from that though, he would be balanced. Moira, nobody even plays Moira as a healer. I think she's balanced, but like nobody even plays her as a healer. They just play her as a fucking damage cheese backline character and never heal your team, and they just run an enemy team and die the entire game, so who cares? Brig, I think, is balanced right now. You're not really seeing Brig that much, though, because there's just so many other better supports to be playing right now. I think that's the main problem. I think once some of these other supports actually get nerfed, then you'll finally start seeing Break being played a lot more. Ball sucks, going into D tier really bad. Ashe, I think, is balanced, A tier. Baptiste, A+ tier. I don't know what I would really change with him though, balance-wise, to make him more balanced. Sigma's A+ tier, and I think the only reason Sigma is not an S tier anymore is because there's just so many other better tanks right now to be playing, and he gets kind of shit on by Orisa and kind of gets shit on by Ramattra. Echo, I think, is, I don't know, A tier. Kind of the same as Pharah right now. Sojourn got buffed again. I think she's A+ tier. She needs her buffs reverted. They decreased the spread on her gun and stuff, and I think the cooldown on her, or the charge hold time on her railgun, that needs to be reverted. Junker Queen, A+ tier. I don't know what they would actually change with her right now, but I think at the same time, the one thing that's kind of holding her back is some of the other tanks like Orisa and Ramattra and a few others that are just really, really good versus her and just shut her down. I think once they get nerfed, I think Junker Queen will be a little bit better. I'd probably actually put her like A tier. I think A tier is a solid place to put her. Kiriko got buffed, a slight buff for some reason, but I just still think she's balanced. I think out of all the supports in the game, she's probably still the most balanced support out of all of them. Next we got Ramattra. Ramattra got some small nerfs for this update. He's still busted. Still really good. Nothing with him's really changed. Feels the exact same as he did last season. Busted. Probably the second best tank in the entire game right now. And then you got Lifeweaver, which is also S tier. I never thought I'd put Lifeweaver in S tier, y'all, but they've pretty much every single thing about Lifeweaver, they buffed. They giga buffed this patch. They giga buffed his damage weapon. They giga buffed his spread. They giga buffed his heals. They giga buffed his ult, and then his movement ability also got some buffs. Every single aspect of Lifeweaver got giga buffed this patch, and now he's busted. I think the only thing that never got changed was like his flower. That goes to show you that they do not know how to balance their game. Lifeweaver went from being balanced on release to being slightly buffed every single patch for no reason to now being probably one of the best supports in the entire game. I think if you want to pick a support right now, I think the two best supports right now, crazy enough, is actually Lifeweaver and Allari. Those are the two best supports right now, and then probably for number 3 would probably be Mercy, and then number 4 would probably be Hana. Crazy. That is the entire list, y'all. I don't know about you guys, but if you want a really solid balance for the game and where the game should be, the majority of your characters should be around B and A+ tier. When over 90, or like at least half, more than half of the heroes in the game are in S tier and need some major nerfs, there is a huge problem with the balance for this fucking game. This is probably the worst balanced season we've had so far with this game. If you disagree with me, then that's fine. Like, you're also playing the game, that's your own opinion, but I don't know. I don't know what game you guys are playing. Either you don't play enough or you're not playing the same game. I don't know. At least from what I've played so far, the balance of this game fucking sucks. Worst balance for the entirety of the game so far up until now for Season 6. Like I said, if you can go to preschool and you can take a 3-year-old toddler and you can show them the characters for this game and give them all the abilities, and they would probably be able to balance the characters for this game without even playing better than the current Overwatch balance team. That is how awful the balance of this game is. And the game would probably be more fun. It would probably be more fun if a toddler balanced the game. I don't know about you guys, but let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. That is the entire list. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. If these videos keep on doing well, I'll keep on bringing you guys tier lists for every major patch or every new season. I also do stream Overwatch 2 over here on the channel, usually on Friday and Saturday nights. So if you guys want to stop by around like 9:80 ST, it's usually when I'm live, feel free to drop by. And if you're new, subscribe so you not miss when I'm live. Apart from that, I'm going to get out of here. Peace out, everybody. Thanks for stopping by.